Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. It's Wade T. Lightheart from Bioptimizers, and we are delighted and excited to have you join us for this incredible webinar called Kickstart the Year with Your Gut Cleanse. And we're going to talk about today how to eliminate parasites, viruses, and candida. I mean, there's an epidemic of this thing going on, especially after the holidays. I know we did Halloween, then we did Thanksgiving, then we did Christmas, then we did New Year's. Bottom line, most of our bellies took a little bit too much celebrating, and now we're looking in the mirror going, uh-oh, what went wrong? So today, I'm going to talk about how to get rid all these extra hitchhikers, as one of my health practitioners tells me. She calls all this stuff hitchhikers. I'm going to tell you a few interesting stories, how I actually had a parasite one time, almost ate my eye. That's a crazy story. We're going to get into that and how I corrected it. And then one of the things that plague a lot of people, things like candida. And the bottom line is, I think that everybody would do really well by having a cleanse each and every year to kind of clean things out, reset the program, get the dietary habits back in order, kind of, reel things in from the sugar express. And we're excited to help you tonight. So why not, let's get this thing, as I say, let's get this party started. If I can just get my slides to move forward, we'll be good. All right. For some reason, my slides going forward? There we go. Are we gonna, or is it? Not sure why oh, hang on a second, guys. There we go. All right. Little technical difficulties. Anyways, in this webinar training, you're going to discover why cleansing, especially during spring, as we're into this, almost into the spring here, is the fastest way to transform the way you feel, look, and perform. 3 critical must-have steps for cleansing your GI tract, where you need to know these things. There's a lot of people doing this. They're trying to do cleanses and they make some big mistakes. We're going to actually share with you the biggest mistake that most people make when quote unquote detoxing. That's an overused word, I think, a lot of times today. And I'm going to actually share you my exact roadmap for cleansing and take your gut health to a new level. Because I had a whole issue a couple of years back, got myself into trouble, and I use cleansing as a great way to get out of it. Lost a ton of weight. It's awesome. I'm going to tell all about that in the very near future. For some reason, my little clicker doesn't want to go ahead the way I'd like it to. So we're going to do our best. For those who don't know me, I'm co-founder of Bioptimizers, advisor to American Anti-Cancer Institute, and, had a bodybuilding career, nutrition industry, all that sort of stuff. You name it, we've done it, and we're happy to continue on. So my goal for the next 60 minutes is to reveal the truth about detoxification and the exact process I use to cleanse and fix my gut health. So we do that. So before we get started, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Do you feel as healthy as you think you should? Simple question. And I don't mean pass a clean bill of health that you get your annual checkup, okay? I mean, do you feel amazing physically in every way? And if you're like most people, the answer is no. It's not. We don't feel that great. So let me let you in on a little secret. Put the finger up. Shh. Something that I discovered that completely changed my life, and that is cleansing is the single fastest way to radically transform your health. And the new year is the best time to cleanse. Why? Because we've really kind of laid it onto us. This is especially true when it comes to GI or gastrointestinal gut health. So here's the benefits of gut cleansing. First and foremost, and this is why most people do it. I don't think it should be the primary reason, but it certainly helps. Weight loss. And the bottom line is we get a lot of sludge built up, especially over the holidays. And this is a great way to end that. The biggest reason I think, and is one of the most powerful motivators, is what I call endless energy. Most people, after they go through the period of a cleanse, notice that they sleep less, they wake up without the brain fog, and they have more energy. They don't have that flat spot in the afternoon where you got to get a pick-me-up in order to kind of stay awake at work or whatever. Or you're coming home tired. That's what most people report from cleansing. That's pretty much universal. Clear skin. people who cleanse and cleanse regularly almost always have great skin. And of course, that's a sign of health. It's one of the indicators of great health. And one of the indicators that you need some work is a relative of your skin. The other thing is just improved overall health. The results of cleansing, virtually every single health expert I've ever known does cleansing. So I call that a clue. Stronger immune system. When you cleanse your body, what happens is it actually boosts your immune system response. Your immune system actually gets stronger. A clearer mind. Fasting, cleansing, all of these things have been practiced in the East for a long time in meditative practices because it clears the mind, makes a person calmer, clearer, and can think better. And if you're calmer, clear, and think better, guess what? You tend to make better decisions. You tend to have a better life. All right. Fitter, more toned body, obvious. I mean, the benefits of that are pretty obvious. And more importantly, an improved mood plus much, much more. All of these things can be yours if you get into cleansing. So I'm glad you could join us today. Now, here's the thing. Here's some of the costs if you don't cleanse. Low energy, brain fog, skin aging, low sex drive. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. Poor sleep, constipation, slow metabolism, and a weak immune system. If you're getting sick all the time, chances are you got a bunch of sludge that needs to get out of the system. And guess what? All of a sudden, your immune system picks up. The list is just too many to list of all the benefits, but these are some of the more common elements that people experience. Now, Hippocrates, the father and mother of medicine, said all disease begins in the gut 2,500 years ago. Now, the question is, are you ready to make the change? So you can just type in, yes, I am. I'm ready to do something. I'm ready to take charge. That's why I'm here. I'm ready to get more. So here's the thing. Here's the problem. Most cleanses, they don't work. You see, because people are focused on a poorly planned cleanse. They see a box of whatever at the store that says cleanse, or they hear about a cleansing drink, or they say that this herb is detoxifying. And people do that and think that they've done a cleanse. And the reality is it's poorly planned, and oftentimes things go awry. They make mistakes because they haven't really thought that out. And here's the things that can happen. A reduced metabolic rate. You can lose healthy muscle. You can reduce immunity. Okay. And severe hunger. That sucks as well. I've gone through that thing. Here's the thing. I always like to share some of my own personal stories. I've been doing cleanses now for over 20 years. And I can tell you, I didn't get it right when I first did it. Many of these things that I'm sharing with you isn't just something I'm giving you an idea about. It's something that I've experienced, or one of my clients has experimented at some point before we got with them, and they didn't know what they're doing, and they tried these cleanses, and they came to me and said, wait, I've messed myself up. So the bottom line is, and I think the worst thing that can happen from kind of extreme programs or excessive things or poorly planned things is you can develop an unhealthy relationship with food. And I can't tell you how many people, and this would shock a lot of people, a lot of the most physically fit, attractive people that you ever saw, fitness competitors, bodybuilding champion, fitness things, models, these type of people that I've coached over the years, so many of them had extremely unhealthy relationships with food, which had an unhealthy relationship with themselves. And you'd never know it because they look great. And so our goal is to help you set some proper boundaries and functional components with your cleanse so that you don't develop one of these unhealthy relationships with food, because that's going to set you up for pain and suffering far past any benefits. Here's some mistakes that people make when cleansing. You want to avoid these. Doing juice-only cleanses, adding intense exercise, not prioritizing rest and recovery, and not cleansing often enough. Blood sugar issues is too much for a lot of people. Too much exercise can really take you out of a cleanse because oftentimes it's a lower energy kind of thing. Not prioritizing rest and recovery, trying to do your regular life while doing a cleanse. It's best if you can kind of go within a little bit, and then not cleansing often enough, because the more you cleanse, the easier it actually becomes. And that's a beautiful thing. So this is why I feel it's my duty to set the record straight, to help you learn once and for all how to cleanse the right way. Now, I've committed that everyone in this webinar leaves with a better understanding of what gut cleansing is and why this approach is most effective short-term and long-term, okay? So that's my goal today and what I've committed to today. Now, if you just soak up the information, you'll be smarter, but if you use the information, you're gonna transform your gut health. So make sure you stay to the very end, because you're gonna receive a really special collection of gifts right before we wrap this up, but you gotta stay right to the end. You also get a chance to try our optimized new protocol for cleansing even more deeply, the one I use. And you might be wondering, how do I even know if I need this, right? I mean, that's a good question. Well, chances are you're here, you probably intuited on some level that you need to know this information. But here's a couple of factors. Actually, there's 6 of them that indicate you need a detox. Number 1, you're consuming any sort of processed foods or artificial sweeteners. Guaranteed, you're gonna need a detox. 2, you smoke or have been around a lot of secondhand smoke. Number 2, not as common today in North America because there's so much bans on that, but it's certainly something that has happened, in Europe, it's still pretty prominent. If you drink more coffee or diet soda than water, that's probably half the population. Or you rarely hit the gym, you overeat multiple times a week. And when I say that, after you eat the meal, you look at yourself, or you come home, or you get off the table, or you get off the couch and go, oh man, why did I eat that ginormous bag of chips? I gotta say, it's playoff football time, and I love eating during playoff football. That's a little confession. And I have really got to watch myself. I got to make sure I have the healthy snacks in there, because otherwise I'm over to the chip bag and I'm over to the dips. And then there's the sweet stuff comes out and the game's exciting and I'm in a trance, and boom, you're overeating. You go, oh man, what do I do? What did I do that for? We all have been there. Or if you just don't feel great. I mean, our bodies are designed to feel amazing. We're supposed to be feeling great all the time. So if any of those things apply to you, you definitely want to be here. Now, I've tried a lot of things that work. I tried a lot of things that didn't work. I pulled my hair out many times. But let me talk to you a little bit about my personal detox story. So I want to share with you my friend, Katrine Volinsky. So her and I founded the Institute of Advanced Natural Health Sciences years ago. We wrote a book together. She was a Chernobyl nuclear meltdown survivor in Russia. Literally, she had to go out with a Geiger counter. And she hired me early on. She was 22 years old. She was a double major in finance and business. And she came to me, 22 years old. She was a model, had a super successful educational career. She looked beautiful, and her teeth were falling out. Her bones were degenerating. She was getting extremely stiff. She was feeling depressed. She had all these things. Now you look at this picture of Katrine and you'd never imagine that. But the reality is growing up, she was near Chernobyl and got exposed to a lot of nuclear fallout when that disaster happened, and that radiation was inside her body and causing all sorts of problem, a decade later. And we didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to detox nuclear radiation and stuff. We didn't know if it's possible, but the bottom line is her and I worked together on this, and she was one of my toughest projects. But the bottom line is we used a series of systematic cleanses. Specifically, we developed a variety. We got a different herbs and products and enzymes and all these different things. And she was able to make an almost complete recovery in a very short period of time. And there's some things that have still been hung over that she's been working on ever since. But it was so potent and powerful for her that she decided that she would go into a career in the health industry. And now she serves on our team as a genetics and epigenetics and detoxification expert. And she's helped me later on, about a decade later, when I got myself into trouble, she helped me do a great cleanse. And I'm going to share with you that cleanse a little bit later. So the bottom line is, it's critical that you understand that there are 3 rules of any successful detoxification program. So rule 1, conserve energy. Look, when you're detoxing, this is not a time to be running marathons. It's not a time to be doing excessive study work or that sort of stuff. It's a time to go within, relax, and calm down. Now, what's interesting is in the modern world, we don't often do this. traditionally throughout history, we had these cycles and seasons. And as humans, there would be periods of a lot of activity and a lot of energy, and then there were periods of low activity, you know, lots more sleep, lots more rest and recovery. Well, in the go-go nature of the world today, we've kind of left that behind, some of our natural components of being a human. The other thing is the second rule is, so you got to plan. I do believe that taking a little extra time to rest and recover is a good idea if you're doing a cleanse. Rule number 2, remove toxins and waste. You got to do this. You got to clean out the goop. And the whole design of your cleanse should be to accelerate the detoxification without being too harsh, because you can overdo it. Like, you know, you can really clean things. And then the final thing is you want to boost your system with extra workers, because literally your ability to cleanse is going to be determined by 2 of these extra worker factors that are going to accelerate the results on a detoxification program. And 99 out of 100 programs do not use that. So for any detoxification program to be truly effective and helpful for you in the long run, they must check those 3 boxes. Otherwise, they're probably going to do more harm than it's going to do good. So just, if you don't do that, then don't even bother. Rule number 1, conserve energy. Look, this is why fasting is so powerful. Okay. You see, if you look in your digestive system, you can see that all lit up in there. This digestive system is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. And the thing is, when it's working all the time, it never gets a rest. Now, people don't think about that, but when you fast, you're giving your internal organs a rest. Those things work all year long. Now, one of the things I always say is don't panic. You know, people start worrying and start thinking about all these different things. I'm going to share with you today all of the benefits of fasting without actually having to do it. Because a lot of people will go in there and fast and get these benefits to cleanse. You know, so there's a difference between, now fasting can be part of cleanse. That's reducing the amount of food that you eat on a given day, or eliminating all the food that you are eating on a day, or a partial fast is deleting some of the foods. Now, a lot of people will say, hey, I want to just go on a complete fast. Now, a lot of people panic and get crazy. That's why I showed you that flame-throwing computer. But the bottom line is you're going to learn how to get the benefits of fasting without actually having to do it. Because the principles behind it is we've figured out and are going to share with you. Now, if you're into fasting, and I happen to be one of those people, we're going to show you how to turbocharge your results and your effectiveness while you're fasting. And that's super cool. And then finally, you're going to learn about super resilient energy vampires that suck the life out of people and make successful cleansing virtually impossible. That's something that's leading into my own story. So remember, rule number 2, what do you got to do? You got to remove toxins and you got to remove waste. And that means you are going to develop a relationship with your toilet. And that sounds kind of funny, but it's actually true. And that's something that is supposed to happen. You want to be getting these things removing out of your body by visiting the toilet. That's the best way to get things out of your body. Now, when it comes to other things, you know, most people focus, the second principle, okay, you know, most people focus on this part, just removing the toxins waste. But it's actually the second principle, because just conserving energy automatically allows your body to remove toxins more. So it's really important to kind of combine the 2 of them, rest and detox. So a couple side notes here. You know, just doing herbal cleanses or colon clearing therapies often fail to kill and remove some of the persistent pathogens like parasites and disruptive bacteria. So I want to be clear that just because a person's doing a cleanse, or just because a person's doing a fast, or they're doing a colonic, or whatever it happens to be, some of these traditional ways, an enema, that doesn't necessarily, it's going to get rid of these pathogens, these parasites and disruptive bacteria that get lodged in the system. And these do long-term harm to our digestion, our health, and overall sense of being. And we're going to identify these little critters. Finally, rule number 3, you got to boost your system with extra workers. And there's only 2 things that actually do work in your body. That's probiotics and enzymes. So as we learn the process of detoxification, while they're very valuable, it often drains the body of critical nutrients, especially enzymes and probiotics. Everything from thinking to blinking requires an enzyme, and everything that your body digests and metabolizes requires a bacteria in order to break that down into usable units. In fact, we would die if we didn't have these good bacteria in our bodies. Those are called probiotics, pro-life, okay? And enzymes are little catalysts that are responsible for over 25,000 functions in the body. Like I said, everything from thinking to blinking. Now, here's the thing. Most people aren't overflowing with probiotics and enzymes to begin with. So when you're depleted of probiotics and enzymes, which the average 40-year-old has less than 30% of what they started with, that's the average. Some people is lower than that, especially if they've been, using a lot of pharmaceutical drugs, antibiotics, antifungals, all of those sort of things, processed food diets. The bottom line is your body's extracting a lot less from the food you eat. And I'm talking about vitamins, minerals. You need enzymes to get your protein, protein to get your minerals, minerals to get your vitamins. And you interrupt that change, you could be eating the vitamins and not getting it. So this makes you more susceptible to an invasion from pathogenic life forms, especially parasites, toxic, and disruptive bacteria. So it's a vicious cycle that creates needless physical suffering. This, as you can see, this little fella, he's not feeling too good, right? So the question is, isn't it time that we end the needless pain? So if you think so, you can just chat yes in the chat box. I'm going to take a little drink of water here because I've been doing a lot of talking. All right, there we go. Now we got some people responding. I appreciate that. Thank you. I always like to reach out there to see if everybody's, listening and paying attention. Now, keep in mind, probiotics and enzymes are critical components to any sustainable, lasting detox program because they naturally have a cleansing effect by getting rid of the bad guys, accelerating the chemical process inside the body so that you can remove toxins, and breaking down your food properly so that they doesn't build up as a toxin. Undigested food is a toxin, and this is probably one of the largest areas where people get toxin. And then you have those undigested pieces of food. What happens is the bad bacteria can feed on that and create all sorts of havoc inside your system, okay? So before I outline the protocol we created, first I want to summarize what we just covered. First, let's face it. We live in an increasingly toxic world, and there's nothing we can do to fix it on a mass scale. What we're talking about is how to optimize your capacity to handle toxins and to remove them. So it makes sense to begin our cleansing journey by detoxifying and fixing our digestion. This is the center where everything happens, okay? To do this, we have to abide by the 3 core rules. We talked about these. Number 1, we give our digestion a break. That's conserving energy. Stop putting so much food in the system. 2, we remove toxins from our digestive system. We eliminate the things that are making our digestion, our immune system sluggish. And then 3, we replenish vital nutrients we need to repair the digestive process and optimize our health. So we give it a break, we remove the toxins, and we replenish and revitalize with the essential nutrients required to progress. These are the foundational cores to any great cleanse. Now, this happens through an optimized protocol that goes like this. Number 1, you fast or eat lighter. Some people like to use a raw food diet. Not everybody can, but if you can, it's really, really great to do this. I was actually on a raw food diet for over 2 years, and it was fantastic. There is some definite sociological limitations, but I take a course of a raw food diet a couple times a year where I'll do, 10 days, 2 weeks, and I'll use this cleansing protocol to accelerate my results. The other thing is to take therapeutic dosage of probiotics, replenish your hydrochloric acid, that's HCl, and fix our elimination. Ultimately, you want to kill parasites. Parasites, there's a great book out there, Parasite Rex. I highly recommend it. Boy, it's one of the most frightening books. But we're starting to see a lot of parasites right now. With my health practitioners, we're seeing a lot of them come up in our health clinics. So addressing that early on can really, really be helpful because some of these parasites are hard to eliminate. So again, our 4-part gut cleansing steps include fix elimination, replenishing your hydrochloric acid, killing off parasites and disruptive bacteria, and restoring the microbiome, okay? So here's what eliminating waste in a cleanse is. First, constipation or any irregularity can create issues that can be solved by herbal support. Herbal support has some very powerful vitamins. If you do this properly, it eliminates toxic waste built up in the colon, resets your body's natural elimination, helps to gently clean the surface of the colon. This is an important component. And this allows the intestinal villi. Villi are the little things. They're like little tiny hairs that are all inside your digestive tract. And this is a way that we actually increase our exposure to nutrients and absorb things. And the thing is, these get clogged up. And that means we can't eat the food that we want. And what happens, we tend to eat more processed, more simplified food. And that doesn't fuel our cells. It's kind of like dirty gas. It has all sorts of natural byproducts. But when we clean things out, it's much easier to not only absorb good nutrition, but good nutrition tastes and feels better. So a lot of people say, well, I don't like eating these foods. It doesn't taste good. Oftentimes that's because you can't, your villi are actually all clogged up, and a cleanse is a way to get rid of it. So a good clean colon is also more hydrated, and without toxic stagnant waste, you're more good for home. Your good bacteria will grow, and it's less inviting for things like yeast and parasites. And I can't tell you how many people notice their bellies just drop off after a cleanse. Like they're like, oh my goodness, wait, I dropped 2, 3, 4 inches. I dropped 2 dress sizes. Why is that? Well, it's not because they lost all the weight. Sometimes they do lose a bit of weight, but it's because they lose all the inflammation and bloating that can kind of go. So one of the things that we've used is when I was first doing this, I had to go through all these different enzymes. I had to go through all these different herbs. We created a product called ConstiCleanse, and this has a full spectrum of enzymes that help break up old waste. It's got some laxative herbs like Cascara sangrata that stimulates more elimination, so you don't get the runs or you don't get the urgent trips. Psyllium and seaweed extract to bind toxic waste and help you pass it out of your colon. Red clover flower, this soothes your colon and helps rejuvenate its natural function. Another thing that a lot of people don't do in a cleanse, because it's almost counterintuitive, and that is using the power of hydrochloric acid in a cleanse. So, you see, but as I said earlier, most people, I mean, did you know this, that by the age of 30, they don't produce sufficient amounts of stomach acid to properly break down the food? So if you're getting a lot of burping, if you're getting a lot of gas, if you're getting acid reflux and you're getting heartburn, what you can do is you can take a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, put it in 4 ounces of water, mix it all up, and drink it down. You can do that tonight as a little experiment. Now, if you burp within 5 minutes, okay, guess what? You do not have enough hydrochloric acid, okay? Burp within 5 minutes, guess what? You don't have enough hydrochloric acid. Simple, easy test. And unfortunately, most professionals in the medical field actually get people to take antacids if they're getting acid reflux and heartburn. And the problem isn't they're not getting too much hydrochloric acid usually. It's that they don't have enough. It's kind of odd, right? It's kind of counterintuitive. Now, taking hydrochloric acid in a cleanse means that you can reboost your immune system and also use hydrochloric acid to wipe out some of the pathogens. And this helps also clear out some of the food that might be rotting in your stomach. So we created a HCl breakthrough, and that reduces the symptoms of heartburn and acid reflux in most people, both of which are caused by a lack of stomach acid, assists with a full breakdown of the food you're eating, ensures optimal nutrient absorption by the stomach, helps balance intestinal flora by making sure protein metabolism is optimum, and it may help provide anti-infective properties, helping you avoid unwanted infections. And ultimately, it assists with cellular detoxification. It's a breakthrough product. It's an amazing thing. I use it. The other thing is getting rid of parasites. So I got a crazy parasite story that happened to me, and I'm going to kind of save it all up for the end, I guess. But the bottom line is I almost lost an eye with the parasite. It's terrible. But the CDC recommends that millions of Americans suffering from parasitic infections. I'm seeing a spike in this in the last couple of years. All my naturopathic doctors and health practitioners and nutrition are coming to me and saying, Wade, we're seeing so many more people with parasites. I'm not really sure why that is, but it is something we have noticed. Parasites are these like tiny, incredibly mutable organisms. These parasites will go in and they'll be in one species and they'll force the rat. They'll get into its brain and make it run out into the field. So the bird eats it, then the bird eats it, and then it mutates inside the bird. And then it gets passed into the poop of the bird, into the water, into a mud puddle, and then it converts into something else and it gets eaten by another species and mutates again. It's just insane these little guys. Again, you can watch that book, Parasite Rex. But these guys are incredible. They'll rob you of nutrients. They eat your food before you do. They produce acidic waste and other toxins. They also, if you got those sugar and junk food cravings at nighttime particularly, chances are there's a parasite that's hooked into your nervous system that's causing you that. These can sabotage your cleanse, obviously, because it can be so overpowering. If you're grinding your teeth at night, oftentimes that's an indication that you have parasites. Parasites can move from your gut into your organs. Like, here's the thing. I had a parasite. I'll tell you right now. I'll just tell you. I had a parasite I picked up when I was in Bali. I came back. I didn't know I had it, and I was in the desert, actually hanging out with Katrina and some of her friends, and I was working with this electronic device, working on my body. I had too much of it. The parasite ran up my nervous system, got into my eye. I didn't know it. I just woke up and my eye was hurting. I started driving home from Arizona to Vancouver. I got to Los Angeles. I could hardly see. By the next day, I was in excruciating pain. I didn't know what was going on. I went up to Vancouver the following day, went to my doctor. My doctor said to me, I went to see my eye doctor. I said, what's going on? He's like, Wade, you have a parasite in your eye. And I'm like, a parasite? And I was like, well, okay, can we get rid of it? And he's like, well, it's 50-50 that you're going to lose your eye. I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, it's 50-50. Bottom line, I took all my products at a massive level. I went to my chiropractor, got my spine relief, my nervous system. I took some anti-parasite stuff. I put a little bit of medication in my eye that I got from my doctor. And literally in 3 days, I was on a plane to Japan. I actually completely corrected it and wiped out that parasite. And that's when I got into Parasite RX. And I had to get all these different herbs to kind of get all this stuff out. I had to go buy all these different Chinese herbs in the Chinatown that I went to, and I took this and that and was boiling up and stunk to high heaven. But, you know, I mean, could have lost my eye. So the bottom line is I was able to correct that. And that's where I came up with a parasite cleanse. So the herbal parasite cleanse is actually a combination of all the herbs that I was getting in Chinatown to cook up and put in my system. So black walnut is effective against ringworm, tapeworm, pinworms, threadworms, and other parasites in the intestine. These are some of the most common ones that really suck the life out of you. Cloves, you know, remember when they put the cloves in the ham? Well, one of the reasons they did that was to kill any parasites. You know, refrigeration wasn't so good back in the day. This is a natural anthelmintic, and this can expel parasite worms and other parasites from the body. Great, cloves are amazing. Grapeseed fruit extract. When I travel, I actually carry a little bottle of grapefruit extract, and I spray it in my water, and I sometimes spray it on my food. Really effective remedy for parasites, bacteria, virus strains, as well as a great number of single cell organisms. Wormwood, this increases bile secretion. Okay, so bile is produced out of the pancreas and it's assimilated in your digestive tract. It's useful in expelling intestinal worms as roundworm, threadworm, and pinworm. Again, if you got those low HCl, the low bile levels, that's when a lot of these things. And plus it has an anti-parasitical enzyme blend inside of it, like many of our products. So super delighted to be able to provide this for people. Now, let's talk about the power of probiotics in a cleanse. Again, these are the elements that you want to have is to create a cleanse. So whatever cleanse or fast or program you're doing, these things are going to accelerate the effectiveness of it to build a strategic cleanse that you can triple or quadruple the effects that other people might get from a cleanse. And that's always fun. You know, when you and your friends are doing a cleanse and somehow you're doing it, you're getting all these better results. People are like, why that is? Well, I've got a few tricks of the trade that I've learned over the last 25 years. Now, the right strain of probiotics helps you fend off bacteria. It'll boost the immune system, fights off viruses, combats diarrhea, gas, bloating, constipation, boosts your metabolism, stabilizes your mood. That's a big one. A lot of people that are suffering from moodiness, it's because they have what's called a gut dysbiosis, which is a disbalance of the bacteria in their guts. When you stabilize that, all of a sudden people's moods stabilize and improve. Presence of heavy metals in the body. You know, if they build up high enough, that can be fatal. Eliminating BPA from the body, which is something is really important. You might have it present if you have consumed from a plastic bottle. Please choose other items other than plastic bottles, even the BPA-free ones. I think there's other plastics that can be problematic. We're now seeing when we do biopsies on people that people are becoming plastic inside their bodies. It's interrupting a variety of metabolic processes. So yeah, the world's becoming plasticky, literally. It's really, really crazy, but that's the world we live in. So what can I tell you? You know, it's just the way it is. So P3M uses a patented process. And this process is basically what we did is we created a super strain. We put a aggressive strain of L. plantarum inside a toxic soup, ran a sine wave through it, and then we took the ones that survived and grow them on very special mediums so that they become a super bacteria, which is able to have these abilities. So this is a patent. And the patent says that it has proteolytic activity. That means it breaks down protein. It's anti-tumoral capability. It's antiviral. It's antiretroviral. It's great against Rorschach's virus, the human immunodeficiency virus. It's HIV, T lymphotropic virus. Survives the human digestive system. Most probiotics don't, and gets rid of bad bacteria in the gut. This is not me saying this. This is actually the US patent. Bottom line, what's it do? Gets rid of the undigested proteins that feeds the bad bacteria. Attacks viruses and retroviruses. It does that by digesting the protein coating on the outside, rendering them inert, knocks out bacteria like candida, starves them out, gets the immune system boosted up, cuts water retention, helps metabolize fat, get your bowels back on track, and supports digestive health. Plus, we have 2.5 billion in a cap. That's amazing. We actually have a video. If you haven't watched it on our website, we actually show how the enzymes in probiotics that we produce will actually break down steak in a cup. Pretty amazing. So hopefully I did a good job educating you on the gut today and some cleansing processes so you can make healthier decisions starting right now. So if you got some stuff, please say yes in the chat. Thank you very much. We're going to get to your questions in just a minute. I love answering those questions, and I know we have a lot of people on the line tonight, so I'm delighted to jump in there. But thank you for all those yeses. I really appreciate that. So now, the products in this cleanse have helped literally tens of thousands of our customers heal their gut. I love doing this. I started out in personal training. I have coached personally over 15,000 clients in my career. And I continue to do it on a wider scale, even though I now run a large kind of multinational nutritional company. It's just an extension. And I do these podcasts, I do these presentations, I do these webinars because I want to take the time to educate everybody. We've got a ton of people on this. And this is a way that I can reach out and do what I've always done and contribute to help you have a better day. So look at some of the results that we've been getting. You know, here's Judy. She goes, I wasted hundreds of dollars in probiotics that give me zero results. I started taking the P3M. It resolved 90% of my digestion just by adding the probiotics, right? Here's another one. The only probiotic you need. I love this one. This is a 5-star strain of probiotic is a pass-through opposed to a colonizing bacteria. It's one of the few supplements that I'm 100% satisfied. It enhances regularity, fights food poisoning, aids digestion, and helps relieve bloating. Darn close to a miracle. Love these testimonials. We actually read these out, the testimonies we get, we read them out on our team meetings so that everybody on our team can actually see the difference they're making in the world, because that's what it is. We're on a mission to help people feel healthier. Here's another person, right? You know, she's saying, Melody says, I believe it aids with digestion, right? I just kind of summarize some of these statements. You know, here's I love this one. This is a good one. Best cleanse and constipation ready every year. I've been a long time Bioptimizer customers. I take their mass signs and P3M probiotic daily. When they first released Const Cleanse, I knew without a doubt that it would just be a top quality as their own other products. I've been taking it for several months, 3 to 6 days a week, depending on what life was going on for me. It safely and effectively relieves any digestive issues and makes me feel great all day long before my morning ritual. You will not be disappointed. That's great. You can see a couple of more. My body's feeling better, really help my digestive process, increase energy and general well-being, decrease bloating and water retention. I can't find a reason not to buy your stuff. I love that. Now, the question is what would be worth to you if you never had to worry about a digestive issue again? Here's some crazy statistics while you're thinking about that. 12% of the emergency hospital visits today are gastrointestinal related issues. These are what happens when someone has a digestive issue over a long period of time. A quarter of the population is on some sort of medication for digestive health issues in the United States. And anywhere's up from 80 to 100 million people on any given day are suffering from digestive health related issues. would be worth to eliminate that. I don't know if you've joined us, and if you're new to our company, I want to encourage you to check out our Awesome Health course. It's a 12-week program. I actually teach you how to achieve awesome health, double your energy with all of the things that I learned. These are natural, tested, and scientific strategies. Everything from the 7 pillars of health, the 3 stages of biological optimization, talking about how you go from sick to Superman. 15-minute morning ritual. I do this every single morning, have for years. It supercharges your health. 12 habits of highly healthy people. I study healthy people. I interview people each and every month on our podcast. If you haven't checked out our podcast, check it out. People who are producing great results in health, I get them on my podcast so I can share and learn. I continue to learn. I'm always learning, and I share the people I'm learning from with you. But there's 12 health habits that virtually every healthy person does. It's crazy. So there are patterns to success. 5 killer obstacles to health, how to knock them out of your life. Basically $6,000 coaching. And it's all in the comfort of your own home. I've got little videos. You can watch them on your phone while you're, at hockey practice or at ballet or soccer practice, whatever it happens to be with the kids, or you're waiting in line at the government office. I was going over to the government tomorrow, and I know I got to wait in line, so I'll be watching some videos on my phone, that sort of thing, while I'm waiting there. You know how it is. So I also did a bunch of interviews with Katrine Valinsky. This is one of our most popular series that I've ever done. Basically what I did is I sat down with our expert, Katrine Valinsky. She's a genetics and epigenetic expert. She's also an expert in cleansing, fixed herself from Chernobyl radiation posing, was hired, flew to Japan when the Fukushima issue came up. She flew there with a special team to assess the situation and come up with programs to help people in that situation. And she is a consult with many of our private clients that we work with directly. And basically what I did is I did a series with her where I broke down questions on digestion, on heartburn, on gas and bloating and indigestion, constipation, all the different types of probiotics, the probiotic foods, weight loss, enzymes. We even got into farts, if you can believe it, because a lot of people are embarrassed about that. One of the most searched for things on the internet, people don't know what to do. Talking to a guy at the office today from another company, I share an office here in Los Angeles, people, and he was talking about how he had this uncontrollable gas and he wanted to get on a digestive health program. I couldn't believe this. I'm literally going to get some tea in the tea room, and I run into this fellow and we get talking about this sort of stuff. So it's amazing. And the bottom line is we go in depth on all of these things. I couldn't possibly cover this in one webinar. There's literally several hours. You can pick the issues that's relative to you or one of the family members, and you'll get all the ins and outs of what you can do for that. So we include that inside our program tonight that we're going to offer you here. Another thing is, our probiotics are a super premium blend. They're really, really effective. And you know what? They're not inexpensive. They're on the high end side because they really work. We've put a lot of science into them. But what I've done is I've actually created a super probiotic coconut yogurt using the P3OM that allows you to make a whole bunch more of P3OM. It saves you money and gives you more effectiveness when you use our probiotic, because you can actually culture this at home. And I teach you to do this so it helps save you money. Our credence at the company is we want to get you to help you. We're on a mission, and we never cut corners on our products. And that means we sell things at the premium price, but they work. But here's a way I can bring the cost savings over to you with this little coconut recipe book. It's great. Helps you boost your immune system. It helps you from getting sick. A lot of people are using this for candida. It's amazing. I can't tell you how effective it is, but the bottom line, if you're suffering from candida, I've got a special thing for you in regards to that. P3OM probiotic, the enema procedure. I don't know if any of you have listened to Ben Greenfield. He's a super health biohacker fellow. He loves our enema procedure with the P3OM probiotic. It eliminates bad bacteria from your digestive system, helps you repress your intestine and colon. Your colon with P3OM, and it improves your immune system against viruses and bad bacteria. We're going to throw that in here tonight and give you this as well. So then I talked about candida. Manage the overgrowth of yeast and candida, replenish the reproductive system with healthy P3OM, and fight off infectious bacteria and viruses. I literally have hundreds and hundreds of friends who are supporting and excited with me because they suffered from candida for years, and it compromised their relationships. It made them feel insecure. It caused all sorts of flare-ups and problems, and just really debilitating. And we've figured out a solution for that. So we're going to throw that in here tonight as well, which is pretty exciting. And I'm delighted to do that. So got that involved tonight. Then the 90-day cleanse. So we're going to go behind the curtain. I'm going to show you the probiotic and other formulation of the 90-day cleanse that was developed personally by Katrine for me when I needed to do a big cleanse after I got all stressed out and was traveling the world, and also how to optimize our supplements to get your best results. We're going to include, it's over $1,000 worth of value. Now, we're going to give you this cleanse offer. We're going to include all of these products and a whole system of how to use this. So we got 7 bottles of HCl, 5 bottles of P3M, 3 bottles of Constant Cleanse, 4 bottles of Herbal Parasite Cleanse. So you can really get a superstar cleanse. Normally it's $935, but you're going to get the Get Cleanse tonight with Bioptimizers.com New Year's Flush. That's the thing. You can see New Year's-Flush. Click on that link. It's in the chat box. We're going to save 38% today. You're going to get it for $580. This is a great cleanse. It's fast, it's efficient, it's going to blow everything out of your system, it's going to optimize your health and make you feel amazing. So you can save 38% today on that. New Year's Flush, bioptimizers.com/New Year's Flush. Now, some people want to get one for the whole family, or they want to do an extended cleanse, the full 90-day protocol. That's 21 bottles of HCl, 15 bottles of P3M, 9 bottles of Constant Cleanse, 12 bottles of Herbal Parasite. This is what I call the mother. This is the one that when I deal with people who are really messed up, we put them on that. But the bottom line is you're going to save 38% plus 10%. You can get one shipment with 3 months supply, $14.58. So you can break that up into payments due. We can ask about that. You can click on the link and get that. Ultimately, we offer a 365-day full money back guarantee. If you try the gut cleanse today, if you don't like it for any reason, just let us know. Send back the unused bottles. You get your money back in full. No big deal. No muss. No fuss. We listen. We don't feel that you should have to take a risk. You want to know that you can trust what you get. And if you try it and for some reason it didn't work for you, or you had a reaction, or it wasn't quite what you wanted, no problem. Send the rest of the bottles back. You get the whole thing for you get your money back. So basically, we take all the risks. That's one of the things that we do. We never want to make any money from somebody who had a bad experience. We keep our margins low, we keep our educations high, and we keep our products in the world class, and we back everything up with our 365-day full money back there. You can do this cleanse 6 months from now, and it didn't work out for you. You know what? We still give you your money back. That's the way we are. You see, the great way of education is about knowledge, but it's action. And right now, you're probably on the fence. Are you going to take action? Did you think about doing a cleanse last year and didn't get to it? Maybe you started one but didn't have the right education. Maybe you tried the kind of little cheap piddly cleanses and didn't get the results. Well, here's the time. But in order to do it, take action. Now, the reality is this. You're standing at a crossroad. You got 3 options in front of you. Number 1, option 1. Remember that old thing, Monty Hall? Remember that show? 3 doors. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. Well, door number 1 is you allow poor gut health to affect the way you look, feel, and perform in your life. Some people, that's okay. For me, it's not an option. You decide. 2, you could waste your money on some cleanses that don't work. You know, I go to the grocery store, and sometimes I see these cleanses. I always look at them because I'm a label looker. I'm a label looker. I'm confessing to that. But the bottom line is I look at some of these things and like, there's no way in heck that that's going to help anybody. And they're charging $100, $150, $120, $200 and stuff. And I'm going, that's garbage. There's nothing more expensive than a product that doesn't work. So don't waste your money on a cheap cleanse. Go all in, give yourself the gold standard, get the results you want, and blow yourself away. Or option 3, try our gut cleanse, risk-free, and transform your gut health for good. It's really that simple, because we're going to load all this up with you. When you take action today, you get the 12-week awesome health course. You get the digestive health video vault, the whole thing. You get the super probiotic coconut yogurt recipe. That's right. Save yourself a bunch of money on probiotics. you get the P3O and probiotic enema procedure. It's going to probably boost your effect of your cleanse by another 25, 30%. P3O and probiotic candida yeast protection. This is priceless if you're suffering from that. We have such a success rate on this. It's worth the entire price right there. And then you're going to get my ultimate personal gut cleanse program for me. Now, again, normally $935, this time $580. Bioptimizers.com/New Year's Flush. The link is in the notes. Or go on for the whole 90-day cleanse, the big bad cleanse. This is the year that I just knock this stuff out. I'm tired of having a bloated belly. I'm tired of having skin rashes. I'm tired of having candida. I'm tired of being tired. This is the one for you. Again, limited time offer, 365-day money-back guarantee. You can always get our products. You can always buy these products, but you can't always get them at this price. Plus, the special bonuses are only available during this limited time offer. So if you're ever on the fence or you want to do a cleanse maybe in a month or two, take advantage of it now because you can save literally almost 50, 38%. That's a lot of money. Now, before we get to the questions and answers, I want to share with you a very short story. So, cleansing has been the single, way to upgrade, but back in a couple years ago, I was under a lot of stress. I was living in a foreign country, and I gained a whole bunch of weight. I got really out of shape, actually. And you know how it is. You're stressed. You're eating the wrong foods and stuff. I called up Katrine and I said, Katrine, you know what? I'm suffering here. I'm off the program. I've been working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm stressed out. I've gained a bunch of weight. I need your help. I need you to help me out. She built out a complete gut cleanse program for me. And I said, I knew what to do, but I needed that extra help. I needed that guidance. And we built this whole thing out and I followed it to the T. And I'll tell you, it was the fastest way ever in my life that I was able to detox and get my body back to its top shelf. I dropped 31.4 pounds to be precise. And I like being precise in 10 weeks using this detox diet schedule. It was easy to follow. It was super effective and got me into literally, I got so close to contest shape. I was thinking about maybe even doing a contest again, but you know what? I'm getting kind of old for that. But I was shocked that I was getting as lean as I was in my competition days from this detox diet program. It's a great program. It's actually the best detox diet program I've ever seen. Bottom line, it helped me drop 31.4. I'm not saying it's going to help you drop that much, but I can bet if you follow this program like I did, it'll probably blow you away on the weight loss program. And the beauty of it is you'll never feel better than when you get off that. So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Old Benjamin Franklin, one of my faves, that's what he said. Good health is the best wealth. So next, let's bring the ladies on. Let's ask some questions and answers. I know we've got Sheila and Sylvia here tonight. How's it going, ladies? And let's hit us up with those questions.
Hey, Wade. Good evening, everyone. Okay, Wade, so we have a couple of questions from the participants tonight, so let's get started.
Sure.
Okay, first question. Is it okay to do the constant cleanse and herbal parasite cleanse while also doing therapeutic doses of the enzymes in P3OM?
Oh,
or
100%.
should I stagger the timing of each?
No, you can do them both at the same time. It's going to accelerate the results. I would say that if you throw in some enzymes and probiotics on the empty stomachs in between when you're taking, if you're eating, or if you're on the fasting program, whichever one you're going down, it'll accelerate the results as it tends to go right into the metabolism or starts working on any sludge that's built up. So it's both.
Okay, great. So the next question, Wade, can I do the parasite constant cleanses while fasting?
Yes, you can. In fact, I recommend that. I'll give you a little trick that I do. Each and every week, I take one day. Actually, it's a total of anywhere between 36 and 48 hours. So I'll maybe stop eating on a Saturday afternoon, and I'll fast until either Monday morning or Monday afternoon. So 36, sometimes 40 to 48 hours. But what I do is I'll take the Consti cleanse and the herbal parasite cleanse a couple times each day. And what that does, it tends to get the sludge out of the system much faster while I'm doing that fasting part.
Okay. So the next question, Wade, how do you know if you have parasites?
Well, again, you can actually do a test. If you go to your naturopathic doctor, they can do parasite tests. Some of the indications, though, is if you're grinding your teeth at night, if you are finding you're having uncontrollable mood swings or appetites or obsessive components about food, high levels of anxieties, these are not always the indication that you have them, but oftentimes it is, or that it's not an absolute, but oftentimes it indications that you do have it. Also, persistent skin conditions that don't seem to respond to medications or whatever, that's generally often a parasite. And again, I would recommend checking out that book, Parasite Rex. And if you think that you might have a parasite, go see your naturopathic doctor. They can do some tests on it, some stool tests and a variety of other tests that you can get performed and get a professional to help you with that, because these guys can really wreak havoc on your life.
Okay. So the next question, Wade, will probiotics taken within a couple of hours of psyllium husk and clay still be effective?
Yes, they will. The P3OM probiotic will be. That's not the case with all probiotics, but the good news is the P3OM is maintainable in the digestive health tract and will not be affected by those items.
Okay, Wade. So this person wants to know, well, this is the question. I am allergic to nuts. Can I take the herbal parasite cleanse as it has black walnut in it?
That's a great question. Generally, you should be okay. It's a black walnut extract. However, I would start with one capsule, see if you have a reaction to it. If you do, just send it back to us. We'll give you all your money back. If you don't, just dose up to 2 at a time. Then, never exceed more than 4 at a time, and just kind of progressively go through it. So it's a variance on indication for individuals. And again, if for some reason it doesn't work out for you, we'll just give your money back. So start small and see how you do.
Okay. So the next question here, Wade. This person stated that she has the P3OM, the Mazymes, and the HCl already. She started Sunday taking the maximum amount of each, planned to finish the bottles. Should she do another round right away?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. And let's see, I think we got one more question. Okay, so this person stated, well, they wanted to know if you can mention again ways to figure out if you have low stomach acid, because they feel they may have this issue.
Yes. So that's a great one. Easy, simple test for you to do. Take a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, put it in 4 ounces of water, stir it all up and drink it. If you burp within 5 minutes, guess what? You got low HCl. So, and that's where hydrochloric acid, most of the population by the time you hit 40 has got low HCl. And it's hard to believe HCl, when you take it, you just take a cap or 2 of our HCl breakthrough after meals. And boy, it's amazing for digestion. Really makes a big difference.
It does. You know what? This person had a follow-up question. They wanted to know how long should they supplement, and does the stomach acid levels ever return to normal?
Great question. So, what I have found is usually with six months of HCl, oftentimes it will return back, and you'll only need it maybe a capsule or 2 after, like, kind of those what I call inflammatory social meals, like you're at grandma's Thanksgiving dinner party, or you're out with your friends and knocking back some nachos during the game or beers. You can only use it for that. Couple key aspects for that is you want to be really well hydrated. So as you get healthier, it's easier to hydrate. That's a big factor in HCl production. There are some people that never get it done. They just have low HCl. Usually you can tell by how great your skin tone comes up and how little bloating that you have, and gas and acid reflux. So if you get things in order and you do everything right for 6 months, you do some cleanses and stuff like that, you can oftentimes bring it back if you stay fully hydrated. Unfortunately, most people don't. But that, yes, it is possible. And I do see that when people go on a course of HCl for a period of time, they oftentimes get their HCl production back. And to be frank, I don't know what the mechanism is on it, But in the digestive health video vault, Katrine goes into some of the mechanisms that are going on there in heartburn and acid reflux on that video series.
All right, that's great, Wade. So that's all the questions we have for tonight.
That's lovely. I want to thank you so much, Sheila, for bringing these questions to our. No, wait a second. I just noticed we might have a few things. Do we have a few other things here? I think we go. No, I guess we got to cover. There's a lot up there, but if we didn't get to your questions, folks, I want to share with you that reach out to support at Bioptimizers. And what happens is those questions get forwarded over to me by the girls. We have over, I think it's about 7,500 questions now that I've already answered. And if I haven't answered that, what happens, that gets forwarded over to me and I'll answer your question personally. So you just send it to support@bioptimizers.com. I don't always respond back in a couple of days or weeks. The girls are always on me, but I do get to them. So be patient. I will answer your question. I really care about you. I really want to make a difference in your life. And, I get my email gets bombarded all the time and everything, but the girls sort it out. If you go through support@bioptimizers.com, we'll make sure we get that question answered for you. And here's the thing. I'm not here to just sit and sell products or whatever. I refer out to other companies. If we can't help you, I'll try and direct you to someone else. I'm just going to give you the best that I can do for you, because at Bioptimizers, it's not about us. It's all about you. And we know if we help you get where you need to go, that's going to help everybody on our team too. So I want to thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking your time. There's a lot of things you could be doing. I hope this was of value to you. And I want to thank you again for, just spending the time with us and doing what we do. I love doing this. I love sharing with this, and I love being with you and helping people out. So check that out, bioptimizers.com, New Year's Flush. I hope you had a great evening. And I want to thank you again from everybody at Bioptimizers. Your health is their most valuable asset, and we are so delighted that you took the time to work with us so we can help you. Take care and have yourself a great day.